So if you're looking for a financial manager to manage your money, what are the top 5 questions or concerns you should be asking them?
Great, great. We hopefully avoid the mistakes that so many of Madoff's clients made, where they didn't ask questions. They were convinced that Bernie was the guru and that his consistent returns were the norm if you had
Is that
money.
the greedy emotion coming into play because of the high returns they were getting? So they were...
Yes, they were very consistent.
It was the emotional
they weren't off the
aspect of it.
charts.
Yeah.
But with Madoff, there was a certain level of panache to be honored to be one of his clients. I mean, that was the truism behind it. It was, well, my money is with Bernie. And in their community here in New York, it was, my goodness, if your money's with Bernie, wow, what did you do to deserve that? But the types of questions that you should ask are, number one, tell me about your experience. Have you been in the business 6 months? Or have you been doing this for 20 years? Tell me, how many firms have you been with? Have you been with the same firm for all this period of time? Or you switched firms back in 2014. What were the circumstances of that? A secret in the industry, or it's just a fact that's not fully appreciated. When an advisor moves from one firm to another firm, there's an incentive, and the incentive is financial. So if this one investor or this one advisor is producing, say, $1 million worth of revenue for the firm, Firm B looks at that and says, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We will give you 100% of your trailing 12 revenues. We're going to write you a check for $1 million if you come over to this firm. And we will forgive that loan over the period of the next 5 years, making it easier for the advisor to absorb the taxation. Now, there are good reasons to move firms. The branch manager is a jerk. You don't have the resources. You think that this other firm is going to be far better for your clients. Great, I respect that, but I want to ask that question. If an advisor has been jumping firms every 5 years, they're jumping it for a check. And when they jump a firm, they drag your account along with it. Your interests are not necessarily along with that jump from firm to firm.
So this is still an industry that has longevity then? You don't want that like someone that has that background of 5 years or 3 years, where most companies now in this day and age, the kids stay 2 years or a year and they move on to the next job for more experience. So I
want continuity. Yeah, I don't want someone who's jumping for a check every 5 years. There is a trend in the industry where so many advisors are going independent. They might be moving from a big bank or a wirehouse to their own firm, but they'll have the backing of either a broker-dealer or a registered investment advisory firm like a Fidelity or a Schwab or a big name with plenty of capital. That's an interesting trend, and I think that's probably the most significant trend in the industry, where more advisors are going independent, and that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
Can you ever ask them, or would they have this information about, like, say, their track record? What has been the average rate of return that you've been able to provide your clients? I mean, should they have that information? Is that a fair question you can ask them?
Well, is it a fair question? Because so many portfolios are so different.
But you can do it similar to, say, your portfolio. How have you been doing with, say, this is what I have, what's your rate of return been, say, the last 5 years with similar?
I think that's legitimate. An advisor has to be very careful because they cannot promise or guarantee any types of returns. So they might look back on the past 10 years and say, had you been invested in this type of portfolio, your return would be 9.7%
Depends
annually.
on the markets.
That's right.
So
That's
relative.
correct.